Alright guys, today's video we will be trying out the new equipment. So I'm just gonna quickly streamline this testing. So I have a full mono blue element team, so we're gonna hop into the actual raid battle, gonna use the setup. So I'm gonna quickly show you guys what I have as far as the equipment. So right now we're trying to get a benchmark as far as what we are able to do with these traditional equipment that we have been able to form. So simply going to be starting out with using these ones. So with the basic skill, when battle begins, a blue type mobile suit beam damage is increased by 9%, and then special ability increase 5% damage, and then accuracy up by 7%. Same thing as this one, so we have both of them like that. For the Mark II, I'm gonna be starting out using the HP module, and then after that I'm gonna go ahead and move into the other one, like the special equipment, the one that actually gives you what you may call it, the one that actually gives you damage upon taking hits. So I don't know how reliable that is, but of course, being the fact that I am using the HP module, so anything after that is, you know, quote unquote simply better. And then the other thing we can also take a look at is how tanky could it be, because we are also gaining resistance as well. I don't know, I don't really think that's gonna make a big deal, but I think the damage portion wise could probably, you know, be a little bit of I guess an incentive in a way. For this guy right here, I just actually you know, leveled this one up because I needed another, I guess a better blue element on the team, so I tossed in this one. Same thing on this one, same module pretty much, except this one in a way. I have the resistance, so you know, kind of disregard that, but we have that. I don't think overall this unit probably wouldn't provide too much damage overall. I think this is meant to snipe unit that has high accuracy or a high evasion rate, so we got that. Sasabi, same thing, same idea, right? Same thing. Rikizi, pretty much the same thing. Yep, same thing. Both of them are actually the same, believe it or not. So I guess how we would determine whether or not the new equipment is good or bad, we would look into the timer. The only, like, because obviously in every run we do, we probably have, you know, a little bit of a slight variation. So that's why we will also take into the consideration of how fast we are able to clear the event, right? So we do that. I do also want to point out a quick, you know, I guess a warning with you guys right now. So if we filter basics here and then we pick this one as the one we indicate, so for whatever reason, I think they mess it up as far as when they code the module. So if you guys are experiencing the same thing, let me know upon use this testing, because this is 2 projectile, right? Projectile damage, but when I use it on the Sasabi, like I used both version, right? The one that increases the projectile and the one that increases the beam. This one actually did more damage than the other one, so I don't know, is it on their end they messed up? So I think they will probably patch it up. So as far as my testing goes, we will also be using that one, just because I feel like that like they mess it up. So I don't know, but we're gonna try this out first. Let's get a benchmark testing on this raid, that just the one we're doing right now. So this one, just want to make sure you guys are seeing, I click on the right one. So yeah, we'll just kind of hop in and then sit back and see how much of an improvement we are able to, or I guess get the benchmark first, and afterward we'll see how much of an improvement we are able to get. Alright, so we are in. I'm just gonna go through the traditional setup. I think that should be fine. So I think for this testing, I think for Sasabi specifically, Sasabi will probably always just be the outlier, just because of the fact that the damage has a huge fluctuation. So I feel like I can't really rely on Sasabi all that much in a way. So far Gundam is definitely taking it away. So we'll love to see that. I think once we get all those EX skill rotate in, you know, rapidly, we should definitely see a better number. So I think Gundam in here will probably be the one that's able to, you know, provide us with a more solid and a more realistic number, just because there isn't a lot of trickery where, you know, you have to dodge more to gain more damage, and you know, and etc, right? So I mean, like Sasabi can show out all I want, I don't really care. But if, in a second testing, we see a different set of number, then we would be like, whoops, yeah. Also, something to consider, I feel like, because all the equipment that we have right now are on demand once we start the battle. So as far as those new raid equipment, they do have a 30 seconds lag before they are in full effect. So that is also to consider about, because we are losing DPS right off the get go. So it is a matter of fact, or be able to make that up towards the end. So that's why the timer is definitely something we want to take into the consideration. And yeah, and pretty much, as far as the testing, we're simply testing out DPS specifically. I know that a lot of people probably wonder, oh, would this fit into like a tank situation, like a tank unit? If you guys are looking into like a more versatile, like a tank specifically, simply use the HP module, because there really isn't, why would you put some DPS module on a tank build? Definitely not. So I think the module, or like the HP module, is still the best for the tank. Even the new one, the one that scales off, like you take damage, you gain damage, the more damage you take, the more you're able to do. Like, no, I don't think that one is going to be too sufficient either. So let's kind of take a look at the damage report. So we finish off at a 194 seconds. So that's the current time. And that's kind of like the breakdown of how we able to do. So we're going to do the same thing, but this time around we will swap out the module and then see can we get a better number. Alright, so we are back, and I'm not gonna lie, I am pretty scared because I did swap into, quote unquote, the projectile, even though it's listed under the beam. So I'm praying we will be able to do better damage. Like, we'll definitely see it right away. I feel like not really right away, but I think once we elapse 30 seconds, I think we should probably maybe, I think yeah, I feel like the damage is way lower, right? am I just tripping or what? Like, maybe, huh? It's kind of hard to tell. It is kind of hard to tell. So I think what we can also do, we can also run it up back again. We can do one more testing on the algae module, because it's always good to just to test. But I think it looks pretty decent. Yeah, I think they probably just messed up on their back end, because there's pretty much no way, right? Yeah. So far I think pretty much the same damage output, like just the damage per second wise. I think it looks relatively the same. Yeah, I want to say it's the same. All right, let's check the timer. Because that's probably the most crucial thing as well. Because like I said again, we did have a 30 seconds kind of like a stoppage before we were able to get that extra damage going on. So that extra 30 seconds before we were able to deal more damage is quite impactful as well. So we shall see just the damage portion itself, right? Or no, just the timer. Because I think if we take a look at the raw DPS, I think it was roughly about the same. So this one is 188. So it's not by much. All right, it's definitely not by much. So I'm gonna have to run it back once again with the other module. So we are essentially doing 3 testing in here, because we just want to validate that they are accurate. All right, let's do this. Yeah, I mean, let's kind of see what's going on. So next week, if it's true that they are going to be releasing the full armor unicorn, so I think that's definitely the prime opportunity to literally test out that new equipment, because I think that equipment definitely is good for that what is it, that full armor unicorn. And that full armor unicorn, I feel like it has many equipment that you can actually use. You can simply just use the equipment that just gives out the HP, because that one is quite good using HP as well, just because of what it actually does, right? So I think there's a lot of option with that unicorn. So we'll definitely wait and see, just because of the fact that it's not really announced yet. And I'm speculating that because of the fact that they said that the clan battle is going to be a red enemy. Red enemy. So it just kind of makes sense that they will drop a blue element again, right? There's just no doubt about that. So given what has been released thus far, and pretty much we just came to a conclusion that that full armor unicorn should be the one that's coming up. It's extremely limited, it's not super limited, so it kind of checks the body box, right? But we will just wait until next month, next Monday actually, just to get that full confirmation. But other than that, how did we do in this one? I feel like for sure, like just right off the bat, the damage per second was definitely way lower. So I don't like it. Doesn't make sense to me for sure. Like yeah, for sure. Like look at this one. We finished this one in a 207. Yeah, this one is definitely inaccurate. So they fumble. So I really don't know how they will go ahead and fix this. Like I don't know, but yeah, that's pretty much all the testing I wanted to show you guys. So it works for sure because we were able to get a 10 seconds shape off the clock. As far as the timer goes, I think I'll definitely give it a passing score. It's really hard to kind of replicate a lot of these scenarios because a lot of times the attack pattern from the enemy is not always accurate. The placement of our unit themselves are not always in the same spot, so we can't always just get like a full 100% accurate reading on all of them. So that's why we always want to use some other means to kind of get a full confirmation and just kind of get like a validation to make sure that what we are doing is accurate. So I think safe to say those equipment actually works, but as of right now I think they're a little bit trippy just because of the fact that you're using quote unquote namely projectile and a beam dealing damage. So it's kind of just all over the place, but proven it works. So hopefully you guys are able to form a lot of good equipments because they'll definitely be pretty helpful along the way, especially not this one but these one. They will always be really good on just a lot of your blue element team, given the fact that these are just meant for a longer term battle, specifically not for arena because it's after 30 seconds. Most arena matches ends before that. But other than that, that's pretty much what I have, and I'll be catching you guys all on the next one.